This is Tony T here from TonySpicks.com with our college football pick show here for Thursday, August 28th. We'll have all 8 picks from FBS versus FBS competition. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Lots of free picks over our channel delivered by myself, as well as our team of cappers here at TonySpicks.com, making it a great channel to subscribe to. We go live every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the Tony Six Morning Show. The cappers join me, giving out live free picks from the day's sports. You guys can interact with us in the live chat. Ask us our questions and more. Ask for picks. Check us out on that live morning show at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Give us a like, a thumbs up. It really helps to build up our audience. Greatly appreciate that if you would do that. Also, if you like sports even more, you can become a channel member, get early access to my videos, click the join button to get started, get a way to support us for the work that we put into this channel. We are looking for cappers. You can apply. Send us an email. The email list form is on the top of our homepage, or you can apply for a live audition on our morning show. Then visit our site, TonySpicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing our top performers. Click the links to the hot cappers. You see them up there, guys like Sean Higgs, Mills, yours truly up there on the leaderboard. Guys you see on our live shows, on our on our morning shows, as well as YouTube videos. With Justin been hot, Ramon up there on the leaderboards, Rod's been red hot. Latest free picks here, send the page with best bets and more. We will be locked and loaded for this card here on Thursday. Remember, all of our one-day passes are profit guaranteed. They must turn a profit. Amount purchased will be credit back to your account for site credits. That's profit guarantee. And then our promo code TonyT at checkout will knock off that 15%. The link is in the description to get signed up. So let's go ahead. Let's get this one underway. Boise State and South Florida. This one here on Thursday. Boise State finished 12-2 last year and earned a playoff berth. Spencer Danielson is in his 3rd season as head coach with 14 starters returning their experience at the offensive line. Broncos sat 7th in scoring in 2024, averaging 36 points per game. They held opponents to 23 points a contest. They're driven on the ground, of course, by the departed Ashton Jeanty. Their defense held opponents to 3.8 yards per rush, but 250 yards passing per game. USF went 7-6 in 2025 for head coach Alex Golesh, who's in his 3rd season. The Bulls returned 16 starters. USF rushed the football effectively last year with 4.8 yards a carry, but were inefficient in the passing game. Defensively, they allowed 32 points per game with 292 yards through the air. They gave lots of yardage to the likes of Tulane, Rice, and UAB. Maddox Madsen gets to start at quarterback. The redshirt senior completed 62% of his passes in 2024 with 7.6 yards per pass attempt. Byron Brown returns under center for the Bulls. Returning starter completed 59% of his passes with 6.3 yards per pass attempt and is a threat to run. Brown was healthy in 2023 and put up some great numbers. USF defense and Boise State pass defense are in question here too. Returning quarterbacks will take Boise State and USF over 62.5. We have Ohio and Rutgers going off here on Thursday. Ohio ended 2024 11-3. Brian Smith enters his first year with the school with 10 starts returning, but only 3 on defense. Smith served as the offensive coordinator last year. Bobcats were a good defensive team, holding teams to 19 points and 313 yards a game. Offensively, they rushed for 5.5 yards a carry. Rutgers finished at 7-6 last year for head coach Greg Schiano in his 6th season. Scarlet Knights returned 16 starters. Defense was poor for the Scarlet Knights last year as they allowed 5.5 yards per rush and 241 yards passing. Despite the inefficient quarterback play, the Scarlet Knights were able to average 28 points a game. They rushed for 4.1 yards a carry. Parker Navarro returns under center for the Bobcats. Last season, he completed 66% of his passes with 8.2 yards per pass attempt. Anthony Kalakmanis is the starter for Rutgers. Senior has been inefficient in his 3 college seasons, 2 years in Minnesota, and last year at Rutgers. Kalakmanis completes a career 53.6% of his passes, 6.8 yards per pass attempt. Bobcats' inexperience on defense is a concern here and is reflected in the line. The Scarlet Knights posted 40 points per game in their 4 non-conference games a season ago. They were set 9-4 the over, 9-4 the over last year, and 4-2 the over on the road. So pick your Ohio and Rutgers over 51. East Carolina, and NC State. This one for Thursday. East Carolina finished 8-5 a season ago. Blake Harrell's in his first full season with the program, returning our sixth starters. ECU was a good offensive team last year with 431 yards, average with 31 points a game. Pass defense was an issue as they gave up 249 yards with 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Teams put up 29 points a game against them. NC State went 6-7 last year for head coach Dave Doran, who's in his 13th season. The team returns 15 starters from last year. It was a poor defensive team a year ago for the Wolfpack as they gave up 31 points a game, 4.8 yards per rush, and 233 yards passing a game. They struggled on offense on third down and got accurate passing. The secondary returns new starters. Kate Hauser will start at quarterback for ECU. Now, with the Pirates last year, the senior completed 61% of his passes, 8.2 yards per pass attempt. CJ Bailey will start for NC State. Sophomore starts as a freshman. Last year, about 65% completions, 8 yards per pass attempt. The Wolfpack defense is a concern here to lay 2 touchdowns. ECU brought in transfers to fill their holes. Hauser can throw downfield and be working against an inexperienced secondary. Wolfpack won 5-1 of the spread at home last year. ECU put up 29 points per game on the road a season ago. Pick here, East Carolina, plus 14. Got Jacksonville State and UCF. This one for Thursday. Jacksonville State finished 9-5 last season. Charles Kelly enters his first season as head coach, taking over for their partner Rich Rodriguez. Gamecocks returned 6 starters. Jacksonville State averaged 36 points per game with 443 yards. The offensive coordinator change will turn the team into a passing team. Jacksonville State defensively held opponents at 26 points per game, 4.3 yards per rush, 7.4 yards per pass attempt. UCF went 4-8 in 2024. Scott Frost enters his first year back with the program that returns 9 starters with 3 on offense. He returns after an unsuccessful stint at Nebraska. UCF struggled with quarterback accuracy last year with 59% completion rate. They rushed effectively with 229 yards and 5.5 yards per rush. The Knights struggled with pass defense, allowing 66% completion rate with 29 points per game. They're talented defensively in the front 7. Gavin Wimsatt will start at quarterback for Jacksonville State. He struggled with accuracy in his time at Rutgers in Kentucky by failing to complete half his passes. Cam Fancher will start at QB for UCF. Fancher, a senior who spent time under center as a starter at Marshall and FAU, he has completed 61% of his passes in his career at 7 yards per pass attempt. Players followed Rich Rod to West Virginia, leaving the covered bear here. Jacksonville State joined the ranks of the FBS just in 2023. Dual threat quarterback Tyler Huff, he's going to be a major loss because this dude could run the football and really, eat up yards on the ground on his running plays. Man, this is again, they're moving from a run heavy to a pass heavy program, and they're going to start from scratch here. We'll take UCF, lay the points, lay the 20.5. Wyoming and Akron, this one for Thursday. Wyoming went 3-9 last year for Jay Salville, who enters his second year with the program. The Cowboys returned 12 starters, but only 3 from defense. The offense was poor in 2024 as they put up 19.9 points a game and an anemic running and passing attack. Quarterback completion rate just 50%. Defense was poor as well as the Cowboys gave up 5.7 yards per rush, 7.9 yards per pass attempt. Akron finished at 4-8 in 2024 for head coach Joe Moorhead, who's in his 4th season. Zip returned 7 starters with 2 on defense. Due to poor grades in the classroom, the Zips, they're already eliminated from bowl consideration. The Zips once again sat near the bottom of college football in scoring offense and defense. Caden Anderson will start quarterback for the Cowboys. Last year he completed 58% of his passes with 8 yards per pass attempt. Ben Finley will start quarterback for the Zips. He spent time with NC State and Cal. Last year with the Zips, he completed 55% of his passes with 6.7 yards per pass attempt. Cowboys failed to cover 4 of 5 in the non-conference last year, averaging 13 points a game. Akron has covered 4 of 6 as a home dog. We're going to go ahead and take the +6 here with Akron. All right, we're going to get to the 8 p.m. Eastern game here. Got a lot of Thursday small college stuff up here, so we'll get to it in just a second. Games here, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have Buffalo and Minnesota for you here. There we go. Buffalo and Minnesota going off here on Saturday. Buffalo went 9-4 last year for head coach Pete Lembo in his second season. The Bulls returned 15 starters, but 6 on offense. They averaged 29 points per game, beside 4.1 yards per rush average and 6.9 yards per pass attempt. Defensively, they held foes to 27 points per game, but 406 yards per game. Minnesota went 8-5 last year for head coach P.J. Fleck in his 9th season. Golden Gophers returned 12 starters from last year. They must replace their starting quarterback and 3 offensive linemen. Transfers will have to make up the losses in the receiving corps. Minnesota averaged 24 points per game with struggles on the ground and throwing downfield. On defense, they limited opponents to 18 points a game. Daquan Roberson will start at quarterback. The senior spent time with Penn State, UConn, and Kansas State. Now, in his college career, he completed 56% of his passes with 5.8 yards per pass attempt. Rick Lindsey is the starter for Minnesota. The redshirt sophomore threw 5 passes last year. Quarterback change and experience on the line is a concern for the Golden Gophers to cover this big number, so we'll take Buffalo plus 18. All right, we're going to go to the 9 p.m. Eastern game here in just a second. Here we go. Nebraska and Cincinnati for Thursday. Game played in Arrowhead Stadium. Nebraska finished 7-6 last year for head coach Matt Rhule, who's in his 3rd season with the program. Team returns 15 starters from last year with only 5 on defense. Front 7 on defense and experience. They held opponents at 21 points per game with good work against the run and allowing 3.4 yards per rush there. Offensively, the run game sputtered, and behind a freshman quarterback, they completed nearly 66% of their passes. Cincinnati went 5-7 in 2024 for head coach Scott Satterfield in his 3rd season. Bearcats returned 15 starters. Cincinnati held opponents at 25 points per game. On offense, they rushed effectively for 4.9 yards a carry. Sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola returns at quarterback for Nebraska. He completed 67% of his passes with 6.9 yards per pass attempt. Redshirt senior Brendan Sorsby gets a start for Bearcats. Sorsby completed 64% of his passes with 7.2 yards per pass attempt. Point production was the issue for Nebraska as they put up just 23 points a game in 2024 behind Raiola. The Bearcats' experienced defense a key here. Pick here will be on Cincinnati plus the 6.5. Miami, Ohio, and Wisconsin. This one for Thursday. Miami went 9-5 a year ago for head coach Chuck Martin, who's in his 12th season. The team returned 5 starters from last year with none on offense. They must replace quarterback Brett Gabbert. Miami, Ohio put up only 24 points per game and were poor on 3rd down. They completed just 6% of their passes. It was a strong defense last year that surrendered 19 points per game, 3.9 yards per rush. The team allowed only 5.8 yards per pass attempt. Wisconsin went 5-7 last year for Luke Fickell in his 4th season. The Badgers returned 5 starters on offense with 8 to the defense. Wisconsin is going back to that grinding style run philosophy. Defensively, they held opponents to 24 points per game, 6.7 yards per pass attempt. They need to improve on run defense that fell off a bit. Offensively, the team put up 22 points a game with only 6.3 yards per pass attempt. Toledo and Baylor transfer Daquan Finn will start a quarterback here for Miami. For his career, he completed 59.9% of his passes, about 8 yards per pass attempt. Of course, a lot of that was against the Max defenses. Billy Edwards gets a start for the quarterback for Badgers. The Maryland transfer was the backup last year for Talia Tagovailoa, who was hurt quite a bit last season, so he saw work. Completed 65% of his passes, 6.9 yards per pass attempt. The Redhawks inexperience a factor here against the size and strength of the Badgers. Miami averaged just 18 points per game in the non-conference last year, and that's behind an experienced quarterback. So we'll take Wisconsin here late at 17. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Lots of free picks on our channel delivered by myself as well as a team of cappers here at Tony'sPicks.com. It's a great channel to subscribe to, so give us a like and thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And of course, hit the link in the description that will take you to our website, Tony'sPicks.com, for our best bets. Our premium plays are there, and use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save that 15% off. That's going to do it for now. I'm Tony T. We'll talk with you guys later.